All right, so about a month ago, I put out a video about whether Steph Curry is already an all-time top 10 player in the NBA or not. And that was done by Stephen A. Smith and Jay Williams on ESPN's First Take. Now they have a segment here with Stephen A. and Mad Dog, Chris Russo, and they're going to be discussing where LeBron James ranks all time. And they bring up Larry Bird and they start debating who's better, Larry Bird or LeBron James. And for those of you who watched that video I did on Steph Curry, you know that I had Larry Bird fifth and LeBron James sixth, but I said that you could switch them and that I wouldn't be mad about it. I said that's how close that it is, and I think it's a great debate. So I'm going to let them talk about it and I'll chime in.
Where Stephen A. ranks LeBron. That would be
number 2 overall. Number 2 in the history of basketball.
Yeah, that's all I was going to say.
Yeah.
Molly's like, don't cut me off, nigga. I know I'm letting you hit that and all, but don't cut me off. I know y'all hear the rumors about Stephen A. is messing with Molly now that Molly and Jalen Rose broke up. You know, I don't know. I don't know and I don't care, but Stephen A. If he could, he would. You know, if she's down, he's down.
Yeah, number 2 overall, number 2 in the history of basketball makes sense. I think most people do. Christopher is
Stephen A. over here being a shoulder to cry on for Jalen Rose and for Molly Karam. He over here helping his boy out, but then he over here for Molly too. That ass nigga.
LeBron the second best player ever.
Well, there's a couple things about it, and I understand at the end of the day, he will be on that second level. And, you know, listen, you got Kareem, you got Russell, you got Wilt, you got Magic, you got a lot of them. So I understand that. Long-term career, it's going to be second.
Yeah, he's going to be considered second all-time to most people because of the accolades, because of the long-term success, because of, you know, the things outside of basketball, the media, and just his brand and his image. He's going to be considered the second best all time. They're going to try to put him over Jordan, but people just ain't going to go for it. So he's going to go down as the second best player all time. But he's not. I mean, I gave you guys the list. Jordan 1, Kareem 2, Magic 3, Bill Russell 4, Larry Bird 5, LeBron 6, Hakeem 7, Shaq 8, Duncan 9, Wilt Chamberlain 10. So he's not. I mean, I think anybody who really knows basketball would tell you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is better than LeBron James. They tell you that Bill Russell, a guy with that many championships, is better than LeBron James. They tell you Magic Johnson is just straight up better than LeBron James. So he's not the second best player all time, but they're going to give it to him. That's inevitable.
But in the peak of his career, and this is in my opinion now, peak of his career, I'll take Bird. If I got
Agreed. Larry Bird, when you think of Larry Bird, think of what Nikola Jokic does in the NBA right now. But Nikola Jokic is a little bit stiff because he's a center. He's a big guy. Think of Nikola Jokic's skill with Luka's movement. He's not as stiff as Jokic, but he might not move as smoothly as Luka does. He might not be as mobile as Luka is. You know, Luka virtually plays point guard. But that was Larry Bird. Larry Bird was a guy who he almost shot 40, 50, 90 for his career. He was an incredible shooter, just all-time incredible shooter. He was a guy who averaged 10 rebounds for his career. In a big game, he could get you 15 rebounds, no problem. He was a guy who was one of the all-time best passers in the NBA. Think of how good LeBron is as a passer. Larry Bird is an even better passer than LeBron. Larry Bird's one of the best passers of all time. LeBron James is a great, great passer. Don't get me wrong. I'd say in the NBA right now, Trae Young, no order, Trae Young, Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo, Ricky Rubio, Luka, those guys, Nikola Jokic, those guys are the best passers in the NBA right now. And then that's probably the top tier. And then the second tier, LeBron is probably at the top of the second tier as far as best passers in the NBA. So LeBron is a great passer, but I got to give Larry the edge on passing, and I have to give Larry the edge as a rebounder. LeBron has never averaged 10 rebounds for a season. Larry's doing that for his career. For his career, he's a 10-rebound guy. And that was in an era with more big men and where they were banging more. So I got to give rebounding to Larry, got to give passing to Larry, got to give shooting to Larry, got to give footwork to Larry, got to give that clutch killer instinct to Larry. Larry was a great clutch player. He was great in fourth quarters. Yeah, I'd have to give all that to Larry Bird. LeBron, where LeBron gets the edge over Bird is defensively. In his peak, LeBron is going to defend better than Larry Bird. He could get that stop better than Bird can as a help defender or as an on-ball defender. And I'd say athleticism, LeBron's just more of a, he's a physical specimen. And yeah, and I'd also have to give LeBron finishing at the rim, dunking the basketball. I have to give that to LeBron. But mid-range game, I'd give it to Larry Bird. LeBron's hitting that ugly fadeaway now, but I got to give it to Larry Bird. Three-point shot, definitely Larry Bird. Free throw, Larry Bird. Post work, Larry Bird. Larry Bird overall in his peak better, but the reason why it's close is, like Mad Dog said, LeBron James with the longevity, he's going to get the edge because of longevity to most people, but peak for peak, prime for prime, game on the line, I'll take Bird.
Series to win for my life. I got a year in his prime. When he won the 3 straight MVPs, this is in the early to mid-'80s. I'm taking this guy right there. He was an assassin. He is a tremendous passer, one of the great shooters you ever saw in your life. Never missed free throws. Always had the right persona for the games against the Lakers. Totally outplayed Magic in the '84 final. Wasn't even close when Bird was phenomenal and Magic was awful when the Lakers lost in 7 games. Here's a game for you that is fascinating. Remember that game in '84? In the 100-degree night in the Boston Garden on a Friday.
This guy Larry Bird was phenomenal.
In Game 5.
Okay.
It was 100 degrees. They couldn't move. It was so hot. Bird, 15 of 20 from the
100 degrees in the gym. Like, that's the thing that when people compare eras, they don't understand. Like, these guys, Larry Bird and stuff, you look at his physique, you make jokes or whatever, he doesn't have access to the PEDs that guys have nowadays. You know what I mean? And for what it's worth, he's going against a bunch of big men in the paint, and the game's a little more clustered, you know? LeBron is playing in the NBA where there's a lot of floor spacing. The centers are shooting threes, so the lane is wide open. And there's a bunch of small guys. You see guys like T.J. McConnell, J.J. Barea. These guys, like, people talk about in this NBA, you got to be big and strong, this and that. You see guys who are tiny in the NBA right now.
floor.
Trae Young.
Didn't miss a free throw. 17 rebounds. 32 points. 17 boards. They ended up winning that series in 7 games. Stephen A., I never saw a Bird in a big series come up small. Never. I saw LeBron do it.
Okay.
Because against Dallas, the year the Mavericks beat them with Nowitzki,
Yes.
LeBron was awful.
He was.
Yeah, and just off that series against the Mavericks, he can't be the GOAT. LeBron cannot be the GOAT based off that series with the Mavericks, and he can't even be the second best player all time based off that series with the Mavericks. So automatically, at best, he's the third best player of all time if you want to make arguments, but you can't put him ahead of Bill Russell because Bill Russell's the all-time winner. So that's like, at best, now LeBron's fourth. Like, he can maybe crack your Mount Rushmore if you're just crazy and you're putting him over Magic Johnson, which is just crazy. That's wrong. And if you put him over Larry Bird, which is debatable, but I still think it's wrong. LeBron still has, he still has more game left. He still has, his career is ongoing, but it's wrong as of right now.
In that series.
Okay.
Absolutely horrendous.
All right. Okay.
Bad.
Okay. All right.
So
Let me
I'm
say
taking
this to
Bird.
you. Let me say this to you.
LeBron versus the Mavericks and Steph Curry versus the Cavs, those are the worst meltdowns that I've seen in the NBA. Those are the worst meltdowns by star players that I've seen. Paul George had pretty bad meltdowns. But yeah, from superstar players, from players of that ilk, Steph Curry, LeBron James, those were pathetic performances.
That's awful, and you know it. Now, in the case of Larry Bird, here's where I'll throw you, because there's nothing to talk about with LeBron James as a shooter compared to Larry Bird. Larry Bird is a perimeter shooter. Larry Bird facing the basket. Larry Bird with his back to the basket. Larry Bird from the free throw line, a career 88% shooter from the free throw line when LeBron is hovering in the low 70s. There's nothing to talk about about LeBron compared to Larry Bird as a shooter. And particularly earlier in his career, there's nothing to talk about LeBron compared to Larry Bird clutch-wise. But I would remind you, let's go through the list because I made sure to pull this stuff up. When we talk about Larry Bird, right? 3-time NBA All-Defensive second team. Never an All-Defensive first team. Defensive is part of basketball.
Yeah, LeBron James is a better defender than Larry Bird. I'll give y'all that.
LeBron James, 5 times All-Defensive NBA team, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, we look at the 9 times first, All NBA, all first team and stuff like that. LeBron's got to beat there. NBA All-Star appearances, we know LeBron James got to beat there.
What does that mean though? That's just longevity, right? Like now we're just talking about, hey, he's been playing in the league longer than he has, so he accumulated more stats or he's accumulated more awards and stuff like that. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Russo said in his prime he would take Larry Bird over LeBron. In his prime, I would take Larry Bird over LeBron too. That's why I put Larry Bird ahead of LeBron. Now, if we're just talking about accolades and all time and all the games you played and all the years, yeah, LeBron's going to have an edge. He's had a much longer career than Larry Bird.
NBA Finals MVP. We know LeBron's got to beat there. NBA titles overall. We know LeBron's got to beat there.
No,
they're having like two different arguments. Stephen A is talking about like the longevity of their careers and and Mad Dog's talking about in their prime. So it's two totally different conversations that they're having.
No, I think that's right. You're right. 4-3.
That's 4-3. That's right. I got this, dog.
I forgot.
Sit back, baby. It's all right. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. I would know. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, dog, when you look at LeBron, at 6'9", being the specimen that he is, the reason why I give you there's no question about the shooting. And obviously that has something to do with clutch, because when you can make shots and when you can make free throws, that goes a long way. But the game is 48 minutes. And when I think about LeBron and all the things that he brings to the table and all-around versatility
I'm not going to argue with that.
LeBron James said it himself. Larry Bird had 0 flaws in his game. LeBron tweeted that when there was a highlight, a video of Larry Bird playing on Twitter. LeBron retweeted it and quoted it saying that Larry Bird had 0 flaws in his game. So the argument that Stephen A. Smith's making doesn't really make sense because Larry Bird, like I said, in the post, the mid-range, the three-point shot, the free throw line, the fadeaways, the footwork, the passing, the rebounding, Larry Bird was better. LeBron James, I'll give him athleticism. I'll give him attacking to the basket. I'll give him defense, but that's about it. What else is there in basketball?
The fact of the matter is, LeBron is number 2 all time. Why do you think I have to hold on? Why do you think I have to put him ahead of Kareem? Kareem is a 19-time All-Star. He's got everybody beat number 1. He's the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. He's a 19-time All-Star. He's a 6-time champion. He's a 6-time league MVP. And I still have LeBron number 2. And then
because you're nuts. That's why.
Kareem number 3 because of the versatility and all the all-around abilities that LeBron brings to the game, which Bird and Kareem and those guys did not have. LeBron is
False.
Number 2 all time behind Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
As usual, you missed 2 themes. The first one was the assassin. The assassin.
He was.
Bird is an assassin.
Yo, this dude, Mad Dog, from his looks just to like the assassin, these little comments he's making, he's like ESPN's watered down Skip Bayless. I feel like I'm watching Stephen A. and Skip go at it again, like the good old days. That's funny, man. They got to bring him around more. I like the little banter that they're having back and forth, even if they're having 2 totally different arguments.
Listen,
I agree.
LeBron misses a little bit of that gene.
Fake ass Skip Bayless talk about assassin, clutch gene and shit like that.
I didn't say that. I didn't deny that. Well,
you just said he was a shooter. You got to put that in. You got to put that in there too.
Well, that's what I meant.
You didn't put that in there.
He's clutch. It said clutch. He didn't shoot it. I didn't use the word assassin.
Assassin is a good word. You know it is.
call that white boy an assassin, man. Larry Bird's our guy. We need him. He repping for the white boys right now.
You know what I mean there? Again, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
At the peak of their career,
Right.
in an NBA final,
Right.
at their peak, and
Right.
you got to take one of those players to help you win a championship. I'm
Okay.
talking 86 series, 86
listen to me.
against the Rockets.
This is
I'm
where
talking 84
it's
against the
important
Lakers.
you hear this answer. It's
Are
important
you
you hear
taking
this answer.
Bird?
All right,
or
all right.
Bird or
Right,
LeBron?
And you're going to be appalled by the answer I'm about to give you.
Probably because it's gonna be some dumb shit.
I take Bird for the last 2 minutes. I take LeBron for the first 46.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's retarded. That just tells you that Larry Bird's the better player. If you're talking about if you'll take another guy when the game matters most of these NBA games, teams go on runs. It's a lot of back and forth. This team has an 8-0 run in the first quarter. This team has a 20-8 run in the second quarter. There's a lot of back and forth that go on in the NBA. It's a game of runs, but at the end, in the fourth quarter, at some point it's going to be a 6-point game or a 2-point game or a tied game or an 8-point game. It's always like that in the NBA. At some point in the fourth quarter, there's going to be a chance where the team that's trailing can come back and can attack, or the team that has the lead can hang on to the lead. That's just how the NBA is. So to say that you'll take a guy for the last 2 minutes, you're implying that when it really matters and when it comes down to it, you're going to take him because he's the better player. That's the reason why you take him in the last 2 minutes, is because he's better. You trust him more.
That's not fair.
What
is Bird Scott Webben? I mean, that's the last 2 minutes.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, he's saying that like Larry Bird is somebody who you can't rely on for the first 46 minutes of the game. Like Larry Bird for the first 46 minutes of the game is arguably better than LeBron, but he's definitely better than LeBron the last 2 minutes of the game, last 5 minutes of the game.
Let me tell you why. Because I went to Game 6 when LeBron was going up against Pierce, Garnett, and those boys at TD Bank Garden with the 48 floor.
Probably the greatest playoff performance of all time. I mean, it's right up there with some of Jordan's legendary playoff performances. It's right up there with the Giannis closeout game against the Suns. It's right up there with what KD did against the Bucks. But that LeBron James Game 6 against the Boston Celtics, that was the craziest shit ever. That game, I'm saying Larry Bird's better all time right now, but that game by LeBron, that one you got to tip your hat off. That was insane. That was one of the ones that it doesn't get better than that. What he did against the Celtics Game 6 in the Garden, that was crazy.
45 and 15. Yeah, 45 and 15.
The dude didn't even blink. It was like he was possessed the entire game. He came out there trying to kill him. He had 30 in the first half. That was the game that LeBron James probably had that killer instinct or that attack in him, that dog in him, more than any other game I've ever seen. Just his demeanor. I've never seen LeBron like that.
He was a monster, okay? He just
right
annihilated them. The reason why I say the first 46 matters is because it might not come down to the last 2 minutes with LeBron on his game. Because he'll destroy you beforehand. And that's the difference. You can't sit up there and just get your moment and ignore the game, doggy.
Well, he hasn't destroyed them beforehand in all the finals that he's lost. So that's a bad argument.
Talk about the game, all right?
You're making it sound like Bird does nothing for 38, 40 minutes and he shows up off the bench to make a jump shot.
He ain't LeBron. He's not LeBron now. He's not LeBron. And he was clutch without question. In a champion.
He's not LeBron. In his prime, he's slightly better than LeBron all time. I have him ahead of LeBron, but hey, you can make a longevity case. I mean, the longevity case is in favor of LeBron because of the accolades. But anyways, I thought this was an interesting segment. Once again, Larry Bird, LeBron James, I have them at 5 and 6. You could switch them around, but I lean Larry Bird 5, LeBron 6. LeBron still, his story is still being written right now, so he can change that for me. I'm very objective. I'm not biased. So we'll see. We'll see what LeBron James is able to do. He's not doing anything this season that's going to help him push ahead of Bird for me. But next year, if they're able to compete, if he can get some pieces to the Lakers, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, these all-time debates are very interesting, and I enjoy hearing them. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.